Scarborough Fair is all about the Scarborough Fair. I don't know what that is, but let's talk about the game.
What does that even mean, Bauer?
Hi there, YouTube. We're back again today for another Thoughts from the Corner. We're here with my good friend Ronnie. And we're talking about Scarborough Fair. This is for 2 to 4 players from Stone Manah Games. And this is a Gamecrafter game. This is, in fact, the Gamecrafter Spotlight game of the month, which means this is a paid review. Oh my gosh. Yes, it is, technically. I'm getting paid to do this because I do a series of videos for the Gamecrafter about a different game every month. This month, it's Scarborough Fair. So if you're interested in the game, we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff on it. But in this game, it's really quite a simple, I'd almost say gateway-style game, in which you're going to be moving all around this board. Now, what you're trying to do is accumulate these cool little resources right here, which will come in yellow, white, and green. You're going to accumulate those resources, and then you're going to place your merchants onto the different spots on the board. There will be one customer on the board, which is going to be a big white meeple that I can't look right now. It kind of looks like that, except it looks like a person. And every single turn, you're going to flip over one card. You're going to look at the bottom where they're going. The little customer will boop, boop, boop. They will go along that path, but along that path, they're going to try and buy 6 time. If you happen to have a merchant there, and if you happen to have time there, then you can sell your time based on how much you have it sold for. Really, the core of the game is, on your turn, you're going to flip over one of these cards. You're going to see exactly where the merchant is going, and then you're going to have a choice between one of only 4 actions. You can either raise, most of the time, / lower the prices of your resources if you're going to sell them. So you could make it, instead of $4 for time, you can make it $5. You can purchase resources for a flat $2 fee, and you can have at most 15 in your hand, pretty much. You can have more than that, but at the end of your turn, you have less than 15. You can purchase victory points, which is a really interesting aspect of the game. Around the outside of the board, I do like the dual-use aspect of this board. You're going to keep track of how much gold you have. And you can see there's these yellow spots here. These little white tokens start right here. And if you have $40 and everybody's bought all the other ones up here, you can buy this. And these are the victory points. These are the only thing that matter. The rest of this, garbage. You don't need it. These win the game. So you can buy victory points. You can manipulate your market, not other people's market, but your market, or you could place a merchant, and that's pretty much the core of the game. The turns go by snappy. It's very light, very simple, easy to learn, easy to teach. Sat down, played it, taught it to my 9-year-old, had no issues with it at all. First impressions, what do you think of Scarborough Fair, Ron?
So yeah, it's definitely, I would say, gateway game. There's not really anything complicated about it. I think for me personally, it's not unique enough for me to be like, yeah, let's play that one. But like, it's a decent game. It's good. It's easy to learn, easy to play. And I did find some interesting situations that, I thought I was like, oh, that's neat when it happened in the game.
Yeah, I think one of the core things that I didn't mention there that you would not get there, and it comes towards the later stages of the game, and I think it would happen a lot more if we were playing a 4-player game as opposed to a 3-player game. And I definitely think 4-player would probably be the best one for this, is the fact that when you have numerous different colored merchants on a path, then the customer will then shop with the cheapest person first. So you might think, I want to have $6 on everything, but having $5 could potentially really help you out.
Yeah.
There's also just different paths they take. So as soon as you flip over the card, you're like, oh, they can go this way, or they can go this way, or they can go that way. None of the choices are too difficult, but they're always interesting. So here's my question. Did you always feel like you had a choice on your turn? There's only 4 choices to do, but did you ever feel constricted?
Yeah, I didn't go to 0 money, so yeah, I always had a choice in my turn.
Probably not the best strategy, by the way. I tried that. I had $20, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy this 20-point victory markers, and I had the lead. I got my butt kicked.
And then spent 8 turns trying to do anything.
Now, that being said, I think that had we had 4 players, it would have balanced out a little bit more, though, because I feel like the other 3 players would have banded a little bit more, because I was like telling Sean, I was like, if you go this way, you're going to help out Ronnie. Whereas if there was that extra player, I think I could have clawed back in potentially, which is why I think 4 players might be the sweet spot for this. That being said, I feel like at first I thought you were just going to crush no matter what. But then towards the end, I was like, if things were to break a certain way, I feel like Sean could have won potentially. I don't know.
For me, I didn't see how either one of you could possibly catch up. Because I did have a sizable lead.
I will say, though, Sean was not making the most optimal decisions, and I made a terrible, terrible decision. I don't know. But I do think you have a good point. I don't feel like there's that much to think about in this game.
I think, for me, really, after playing it one time, I feel like there is going to be nothing for me to discover playing this again and again.
I agree with that. But there's nothing to discover on Splendor, either. And I know you enjoy Splendor a lot.
I don't agree with that.
Oh, okay, disagree. Tell me. Like, what are you going to discover in Splendor?
The game's played differently.
I like Splendor better. I'm just trying to compare another... Because I feel like they're in the same boat, honestly. They're both gateway. They're both pretty themeless. They both have very simple mechanisms, very restricted choices on what you can do with your turn.
I mean, what I did in the game I played... I mean, because I didn't know what the best strategy is, and I feel like what I did really was about the best, so I would just optimize that a little bit more. Splendor, though, you can play that differently. You can go for mass low point cards, or you can go for only high point cards. There's different strategies in it.
But here's my question. I don't think your strategy would have worked nearly as well if someone else was doing the exact same strategy. If there were two of you, I think you would have offset each other.
What's the alternative?
That's a good point.
Like, I don't think
well, let's break that down. It's okay. Am I going to get resources first? Am I going to set out merchants first? Am I going to manipulate the stock market first? And don't buy victory points first. just scrap that one. I learned that one for you.
Yeah, essentially, this is an engine building game. So, like, if you... And it's kind of weird because, like, I didn't get any of the cheap ones. Like, the 3 cheapest ones, I didn't get a single one of them because I spent all my money building an engine. So I eventually got all the expensive ones, and it was really hard for them to get their engine going as fast as me to be able to buy the expensive ones because they spent their money on the cheap ones. But
yeah.
So I built an engine, and that engine revved up and won me the game.
I also feel like you had really good positioning on your merchants as well.
I also, for the most part, there was lots of spots where I went as well. It's not like, there was like 1 or 2 that I went to that I didn't even like that I went there, that hogged up the spaces. But for the most part, they were all centered for the most part, but there's a bunch of spots there too. It's not even like no one else could have went there.
I think you're convincing me. I think you're... Well, I mean... Because I will agree 100%. There is nothing else we're really going to see in this game that's going to be drastically different ever again. Like, there's just not much there. And there doesn't have to be much there. But it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad game. I'd say it's a good, lightweight game. Yeah, but
that's where I'm at.
There's other good, lightweight games out there.
I think the most telling thing for me personally, and I use my son as the canary, he, more times than not, wants to play games immediately after we get done. Like, yeah, let's do it again. I want to do it again. I want to play it again. But this one, he was like, you want to play this again? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I would. He's like, okay. It's just like, he would, and he will for a gameplay video, but it's like, I don't get the impression he was excited, and there's not a lot to be excited about here, because once again, the theme, I don't think we've really talked about the theme aside from the main intro. It's there, but it's not. It's Splendor theme. I mean, that's the thing. And you can even say, oh, Splendor's a little bit more thematic. Do you know what the theme of Splendor is? Like, my son figured it out. No, but there's actually more to it. The 1 and the 2s and the 3s are like the progression of how the gem gets to the thing. He actually figured out the theme of Splendor, and I was like, oh my gosh. This one, yeah, the theme is there, but it's not there. The gameplay is fun, it's tight, but like you said, I think there's a lot of other games that fit into this box, into this ilk, that are much smaller boxes. Like this box, I would love it if it were a lot tinier. I think if this was half this box, my opinion of this would be much better. Because I'm always concerned about box spaces. But the gameplay itself, yeah, it was good. I'm with you, it's good. It's a good, like, Lucy would always say this about these games. It's a cute game.
It's a cute game.
It's a cute game. But recommending it, especially considering it's a Gamecrafter game, and I hate to bite the hand that feeds, but that means this is a $70 game.
This is a $70 game.
This is a $70 game if you print it off the Gamecrafter, and there's no way that I would ever recommend that to anybody at $70. Like $15-20, I'd say, yeah, if you like lightweight filler games, this sort of thing, you throw this in there. It's not even filler. It's not even filler, I don't think, because it is a 60-minute game. I feel like at the end of the day, this game needs modules. I think modules that would expand to it, that would add different things, traveling peddlers, traveling this, some wild resources. There's a lot of things that I feel like could be added to this game with just a little bit more playtesting, a little bit more time that would add more to this game. Like, imagine we finished this game, first game, and I was like, oh, there's like 6 or 7 more modules that progressively make it better and add more. Like, to what you said of just, there's nothing else new to see.
Yeah, there would need to be something that, like, somehow changes the game from game to game.
And I think they could do that. Another board? I mean, there's a lot of stuff I think they could add. And I doubt they will. This is a relatively old game. But yeah. So we're both good, but nothing that... End of the day, the question I was asked, would you want this on your shelf?
No, I wouldn't pull the camera.
Yeah, I'm the same way, too. I imagine I'll shoot another gameplay with my son. But after that, there's so many other games that do have theme that I think have more interesting choices, that have more paths, that aren't an hour too, because they're like, oh, it's 30 to 60. Yeah, you've soured me on the game a little bit. But it wasn't great at the first fight. I was like, yeah. Okay. Scarborough Fair. There you go. It looks like it might be your cup of tea. Be sure to check this one out. If you're enjoying the content, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below. And if you have dreams, aspirations of making your own board game, no smoke up your butt. Gamecrafter is the way to do it. They are the preeminent prototyping service out there. Not only can you make the prototype of your game, they have tons of different components. Like, seriously, have you ever been to their website?
I have not. It sounds like I need to be.
It is a freaking candy store. And don't butter me up. Like, it's actually really cool. All this, they do custom cards, they do custom minis, they do custom this, custom that, custom boxes. They have all these different box sizes. I love them. And then you can put your shop games on the marketplace where people can buy them. I've seen people do Kickstarter videos where then they say, we're going to put it through the Kickstarter. If we get to $10,000, then we'll do Panda GM. All sorts of different things. But that's enough shilling. Scarborough Fair. Yeah. If you enjoy the content, I already said that. Goodbye. Oh, and by the way, these are hander pants. They're amazing. I know you've been wondering what the hell these are. They're great.